So, like, I find it funny that all your league games you are getting a lot of wins on, but your ranked games, on the other hand, are not as good as results.
Yeah, I don't know why, but well, um, I don't know. It's probably a personality flaw.
Well, it means you do good in tournaments, just not so much online. All right, is Steve here as well?
Yeah, and he is a Young Sang Dojang
Yep,
member, and
Oh,
he is
I'm
nice.
here.
here.
Thank you.
Oh, nice, 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 nice. Oh, then you okay, okay. So it's Buzzsaw's fault that we didn't do the points lower.
Oh, yeah, and this was actually played before I started to do the point slover.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right. It's too basic. You guys are dawn level, right?
Yeah. What?
Like, there's no mistake. Like, there's no like 5Q mistakes so far.
Well, that's good to know.
Okay, so we're at largest framework, so we're going in. Not so confident with my stones at the bottom. Now technically, we went here and didn't jump.
Yeah,
So we should have some Aji right
that's
here.
true. I should have jumped.
But I don't exactly know how to use it. Because if we just try to lean, there's this cut. But maybe it is okay. But maybe it's bad. So it's actually quite difficult. We do have this later, but that's a later thing, right? So I understand like the idea of like I want to leave and play a big move. But if you were to ask me, I would actually want to settle. So that way, whatever happens next, I'm happy to deal with and then get on the right. Because once I'm settled, I don't have to worry about anything in the future. So right here, you do have some Aji with A. Technically, you're not completely alive. So you have to keep that in mind. So it's kind of like how much risk are you comfortable with here? So reducing the right side and getting a weak group right next to A is potentially dangerous. But it's up to Buzzsaw to like do some sort of double attack like this. You could do that. So maybe just a Nobi. Here. In here. And try to do some sort of double attack.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe just a cap.
Yeah.
Let's see if you can find a way to double attack this. It's actually quite difficult. You also choose a knight's move. But I want to see an attack here. That's what I want to see. This feels a little bit passive, but let's see what the follow-up is. This should be very bad shape.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have to, if you Hane right here, black has to wedge. It's like that. So you can't play this move. Because this is a 1-point jump on a 1-point jump. So you have to check the Hane and the wedge.
Okay, so what is a good response? I wasn't feeling terrific
Tiger's
about
mouth.
that move.
Tiger's mouth is
Okay.
usually the shape point. And then you have this cutting point and that cutting point.
Okay, thanks.
But if you're asking me like how to keep all the territory, well, that's actually quite difficult here.
Yes.
The best I could see is do that, but you still lose the territory. And the problem is this would be the move if this didn't exist. But it exists, so there is no way to keep all the territory. So it's a matter of what do you want to do. So I think Tiger's Mouth would be the shape point here. So yeah, white missed a big chance right here. I have a question. Why are we fixing? Because if you saw this, you shouldn't have played this one. So when you play this one, it makes me believe that you didn't know the shape or you didn't see the shape. So why are we not playing this one?
I don't know.
Well, this is basics. Fix your cutting point. If they peep, you fix. Like, that's a very good move. Usually it's bad for them to peep, right? So whenever we don't fix our peep, it's because there's something wrong. So if we can't identify what's wrong, then this is a bad move.
Okay.
Now, ironically, it's a good move because you fixed, but You didn't know that. So this is a bad
Well,
mentality.
I did say I wasn't really totally good about the R12 move. So I guess I was fixing.
Yeah, but what are you reading? Like you're doing that feeling thing that I think you do. You
Oh
can't
yeah,
you can't feeling. I would rather you lose the game
then feel.
than feel because I want you to learn the pattern and lose and learn than to feel and be wrong half the time, right? So I think you should have played here and just got punished because
Okay,
that way at least you learn the shape and you get stronger.
correct.
But if you're fixing here, it kind of like it doesn't make sense that you played this one and then played this one. It doesn't make sense to me. So I go, what? So it's like you played a move that's got a bolt, and then you fix the cut. So either you didn't see the cut or you did see the cut. And if you saw the cut, don't get cut.
I think I didn't see the cut, but then I saw the cut.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But that could be playing too fast or bad reading or whatever. So here's the question: do we want to cut here? I think we do. If we're pushing, if we push right here, I think we
I instantly regretted not cutting.
yeah,
I was pissed that I didn't do it.
Because even if we get this one, that's still a lot of points. I would say that's an okay reduction. It's not the best. You could have done a little bit better, but it's not bad by any means. This is a very broken shape for white, though.
Yeah, I was happy.
And
with
now there's no Aji anymore. So now it's actually probably good for black.
So I read this out to cut, and then I panicked at the Ataris that it presented and the cutting points it presented, and then it fell apart.
Yeah, you have to stick to your reading, because if you read something, you have to do it. And if there's something wrong, then you should have read that in advance and not did it in the first place. But you can't commit to the idea and then change your mind, because that's really dangerous and can really mess up your position.
Yeah, it was costly.
Yeah, because what if you had just gone like right here or right here or right here? It's some sort of sabaki, right? Right here. I mean, and just leave the Aji. That might work later, or you might get a free move out of it when black fixes. Like, let's say black fixes, you might get a free move. Let's say black goes here. Like, maybe you still have Aji or you get a free move, right? So if you're going to push and activate the Aji, you need to play the follow-up. And if you say you can't or something's wrong or whatever, then that means you shouldn't have done the move in the first place. So it's the exact same thing with I was saying with buzzsaw. If you play here and don't see the cut, then why are you fixing it, right? So it's the same concept. Your moves need to be consistent, or your play needs to be consistent. If you're gonna fix, just fix. Don't be fancy. Fancy still has Aji. There's Aji right here. There's Aji right here. There's Aji right here. This one's the worst, but the point is this still has a lot of Aji. So you're trying to get 1 point more, but you have so much more Aji that you actually lose points. So if you're going to fix, go here. Now the question is, should you fix? So if I just jump somehow, if I just fix my group like here or here, just jump and play defense. What are we worried about? Something like this.
Those are the very things I was worried about.
Okay.
I just thought that corner was going to get really big on me quick.
Yes. Okay. So what about defending here?
Yeah, that's nice.
So this one is what I'm teaching my students is called aggressive defense, or what I like to call aggressive defense. So if we play here, right, it just fixes the problem. Everything's done. It's good, right? But sometimes we're like, well, I want to fix in Sente. So we threaten something else and fix the problem. It's not as perfect as the traditional fix move, but if it fixes the problem, even if it loses a couple points, then we can move on to the next thing faster. So we usually can poke our opponent's Aji or use our opponent's weaknesses in Aji to do it in Sente or whatever. Or in this case, we can threaten a lot of points in the corner and an invasion in the corner to fix it. Because now there's definitely nothing. Which I think there was probably nothing before. There's a lot of Aji, right? There's a lot of Aji. But I think it's possible for you to handle it. I think it's just points. The question is, like, is it enough points to warrant an entire move, ignoring your weak group? And that's the question. So you said it was. So maybe this, maybe this. But if you don't see that, or if you disagree with that, you think the people in the corner is just not big enough because the people on the outside's big, that's fine, right? That's your judgment. But what you can't do is say, I'm going to fix and then not fix. Because there's still a lot of Aji here.
Yeah, I was just looking for something that did two things.
So that's a very dangerous thing. This is a common mistake at single digit queue, is everyone wants to play double purpose and multi-purpose, but but the very act of trying to do multi-purpose does worse than a single purpose. So if we are going to do single purpose, it's this. The multi-purpose comes in when Aji exists. So where's the Aji for black? Maybe this at best? Or threaten the 3/3, right? That if you can't use Aji, you can't be multi-purpose. So when you're saying here, what does this do extra to black's Aji versus just fixing? Like why are we doing the extra? Because the extra does less locally, but you're trying to be double purpose. So what's the second purpose?
I was looking to build a more of a moyo on the left side, and I was also looking that maybe I could connect with that weak group in the center if need be. Again, just to contain black coming out.
Yeah.
Again, at this point, my read had fallen apart because I didn't cut, and I was trying to, rebuild.
Yeah. So let's compare that to single purpose moves. This fixes the Aji better.
Right.
This builds the left better, and this plays defense better.
Right.
So the very act of trying to be multi-purpose makes all of your plans worse.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yep. Oh,
so
yeah.
if you're going to try to be multi-purpose, try to think aggressive defense instead of multi-purpose. Because multi-purpose usually gets you in trouble. But aggressive defense says, I'm going to fix my problem by using black's problems. And if you can't, then just be single purpose. It's much better. Because single purpose is better than multi-purpose bad moves. Right? Single purpose does the job and does it very, very well. So you need to master that to get to single digit queue. We call that, that's what I call my double digit queue moves, is super strong single purpose. But for efficiency's sake, we try to think, how can I use my opponent's Aji to do this in Sente? How can I use my opponent's Aji to do this for 2 points better or something while still fixing the problem? But if you can't read that it fixes the problem perfectly, so in this case, the reading here is still too much, then it would have been better just to play single purpose, because then you don't have to spend as many moves in the future. So
I considered that one. Yeah, I really considered that M4 a lot, but then again was looking for more because I thought I really lost here.
Yeah, just because you made a mistake doesn't mean you immediately can make up for it. That's the very definition of a mistake, is you lose out. So if you make a mistake and then everyone's like, and you were like, okay, let's just make up for it, everyone would do that. But you can't. You just have to fix it and move on, and just take the loss and move on. The very act of trying to overcompensate for the mistake makes a mistake worse. And a good way to look for this in reviewing your games is whenever you spend a move to fix something, if you find yourself having to fix it or deal with issues later in the game, then that right there will prove to you that you spent more moves fixing it than just spending one move to fix it. Because if you spend one move now, or one move now and like 3 moves later, what do you think is better?
Yeah. No, that's very helpful. Thank you. Very helpful.
Why are we not attacking?
I guess I should have. And
what's the classy approach?
Well, I need to ask if I have a weak group and if my opponent has a weak group. And I guess I didn't do that because I probably should have seen that was weak and I should have gone after it.
Right. So does A, just to clarify, does A have a base?
No.
Is it near black?
It sure is.
So that means it's a weak group. So
That's
we can
right.
go here, we can go here, because we can actually do Bahani, which is cool. Or we can just do that in the Bahani if you want. You can also consider the cut, which gives some Aji, but I don't know if that works or not. That's reading. You can go here and then threaten this. They might do that though, which is annoying. You can also go here. You can also threaten this. It makes it stronger, but it makes surrounding
Makes the attack
easier.
yeah.
So basically, I don't think we should be ignoring A. There's too we can go play the shoulder hit after getting free profit.
True.
Even getting like a couple points in Stente, even just 1 and 2 is already a better position. As long as we get free profit, just attack and Sente. But I really think something like this. I mean, that's painful.
Oh yeah.
That's just painful. So and so if he tries to run, and then you shoulder hit, that looks a lot better, right?
Sure does.
It just, the idea is you don't have to kill, just get something for free. Like they have a weak group, and that's why we attack before we play a big move. If they have a weak group, just make something for free and then go get the big move anyway. So you're missing your chance to take a lead here.
Right.
Wedge is usually not the move. Usually it's clamp here or peep. And it's like that, or like that, or like this, or like this, or up. So it depends on what you want, of course. So if you wanted here and here, that would be, you know, a lot of points. If you wanted the left, you could go here or here and get some points on the left. If you wanted to attack, then you could do something like that or like that. But wedge is usually never the move. Like the whole point of this is a sort of sabaki shape, because if you wedge and then try to cut me, oh, that's exactly what happened. I can just squeeze, and you can see you don't get a lot. So that is shape knowledge. 1 point jump or shoulder hit is my instincts.
Okay.
Because that looks a lot nicer.
Yeah, I like that.
This one is a large knight's move, so there should be slightly more Aji involved. Not saying there is, not saying your move's bad, I'm just saying my instinct is telling me that this is not the best shape. This is fine because we're trying to settle, but we are hurting this Aji. But probably we're too weak on the right to do it. Okay, so settle quickly. You don't have to respond here. Go defend that weak group. The response here is you can just do that. And that's pretty nice. So the question is, can they do this, right? I think you can do that. And then get another free move. Like, yeah, you lose a lot of points, but 2 Sente moves is nothing to joke about. And then if they go here and here, then black takes Sente, and that's fine too. So I think Hane should be relatively easy to deal with as long as you don't die. I mean, you could even just do this, right?
Right.
So for white here, I think this is a points move, and the question is, do we have time to just play for points when we have weak groups? I'm not sure. I like this because this activates that, which is interesting. So I think this defends it better. This would be worth doing if these 2 stones were cutting stones, but you're never going to cut here. So I kind of want to be more flexible. Like even this, but this stone's an Atari is why I don't like it. That way you have a tiger's mouth. So just a little bit better shape.
It was that Atari that made the difference for me. I was like, I'm going to lose not just the 2, but the other one now falls apart.
Yeah. You could also try this. And thanks. The idea is to think about speed over. It's just a matter of understanding that these 2 stones are not the group, because they're not cutting stones. But it's
I didn't
fine.
care about the 2. I cared about the base 2, but it seemed like they were all connected. If I lost one, I was going to lose my base.
This is another move where you're trying to is kind of like this one. You're trying to do extra, and you're actually getting less. So this is the table shape. So it's closer to an eye than this one, which has a clamp. So the eye shape actually looks worse. Potentially there's some stuff in here. Like that's an empty triangle. So yeah, your shape looks, so just play good shape when you're playing for defense. Here's a good rule of thumb is like you're trying to do more, which like we talked about earlier is a common misconception of single digit Q. Trying to do more actually does less unless you are using your opponent's Aji. So again, does this use extra your opponent's Aji? No, then just play the normal move. Normal is better unless you're using Aji to do it better. Does that make sense?
That's very helpful feedback. Thank you.
Awesome. So I think that's enough for one game. So hopefully you two found that helpful.
Thanks. Yes, very.
helpful.
Thank you for the review.
Yeah. You guys, I can definitely tell you, Young Goose saying the opening in this game was much stronger than normal that I see at this level. But the middle game, I think there's some couple concepts for both of you to get down. I think
I keep losing in the middle.
I mean, yeah, I think most players do. I would say the big thing for white is this: get rid of this extra and just understand single purpose is better unless you're using Aji. And then buzzsaw, it's just attack your opponent.
Yeah, I gotta start seeing the attacks.
Yeah. I would say I think you got to focus on it. You got to like super hardcore. I'm going to attack you this game.
I'm gonna have to do that.